Yes, Aunt Smiley went on. You see, one day Loafy met a man who gave him a zoo. It seems that the man had to go off to Australia to live with his son and daughter and needed to find somebody to take a zoo off his hands. He gave it to your Uncle Loafy. Noah whistled. Wow, a zoo! And what happened then? Well, because Loafy was off at sea a great deal, Aunt Smiley continued, he had to get a friend to run the zoo for him. He had a friend called Roger Porridge, and Roger became the head zookeeper. Noah looked at Hattie. Imagine having a zoo, he said. Hattie shook her head. I'd love to meet some of his animals, she said. Wouldn't you? Noah thought for a moment. Then he replied, Yes, I think I would. He did not know, of course, what was going to happen only 3 days later. I imagine that you've already guessed. But let's see. Exactly 3 days later, Aunt Smiley announced that there had been a telephone call from Uncle Loafy. Uncle Loafy is coming for tea this afternoon, she said. His ship has just returned from a trip to Jamaica to collect a cargo of bananas. He will be here later today. Uncle Loafy arrived at exactly 4 o'clock in a very old red car with 3 wheels, 1 at the front and 2 at the back. As he climbed out of the driver's seat, the first thing he said to Noah and Hattie was, How many wheels does my car have, my dears? 3, said Noah, and added, Most cars have 4, Uncle Loafy. That's right, said Uncle Loafy. I used to have 4, but I lost one, I'm afraid. It's a long story, and I'll tell you more about it when we have more time. Now what I want is some tea and cake. He smiled at Hattie. I take it you like cake, Hattie? Hattie nodded. I like it very much, Uncle Loafy. Well, in that case, said Uncle Loafy, if you look in the back of the car there, you'll find several large boxes. Do me a favour, please, and bring them inside. Hattie did as she was told. But as she opened the door of the car and peered inside, she gave a loud shriek of surprise. There's a monkey in there, she shouted. Uncle Loafy laughed. Oh, yes, he said. Of course there's a monkey. That's Monkey Robertson. I forgot all about him, but I think he'll want to come in for tea. He always likes to see what's going on. No sooner had he said this than a monkey scampered out of the car and jumped up onto Uncle Loafy's shoulder. He loves to ride on my shoulder, said Uncle Loafy, and then he said to Hattie, Don't forget the boxes of cake. Hattie reached into the car. The boxes were rather heavy and had the most delicious smell coming out of them. It was a smell made up of icing sugar and strawberries, of several sorts of chocolate, and of marzipan. It was a very promising smell. Aunt Smiley gave her brother a hug at the front door, and they all went into the kitchen, where places had been laid for tea. The cakes were soon taken out of the boxes and placed in full view on the table. Hattie had never seen so many cakes in her life, and none as delicious-looking as this. Uncle Loafy smiled as he suggested she and Noah put a couple of cakes on everybody's plate. And don't forget Monkey Robertson, he said. He's particularly partial to a spot of cake. They sat down at the table. Monkey Robertson sat on Uncle Loafy's shoulder, but every so often he hopped onto the table and helped himself to a piece of cake, scattering crumbs all around as he did so. He did not have very good table manners, thought Noah. But then he was a monkey, and you can't expect too much of a monkey. While we're eating, Uncle Loafy said, I shall give you some very important news. Are you listening attentively? Noah and Hattie nodded. They thought their uncle was amazing, and they could barely wait to hear what he had to say. Now then, Uncle Loafy began, you may have heard that some years ago I was given a zoo. Aunt Smiley told us that, said Noah. Did she then? Uncle Loafy continued. Well, she was correct. I was given this zoo, you see, but I couldn't really look after it myself, so I asked my friend— Roger Porridge, prompted Noah.